Our partners at Hertz are celebrating everyday heroes, ordinary people doing extraordinary things and going out of their way to provide exceptional service. Here at Hendrick Motorsports, we have plenty of everyday heroes that help make this organization what it is. We are recognizing a few of our own heroes throughout the season. I am here with H.A. Mergen, an engineer in our competition systems group. So H.A., how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good, glad you joined us. So H.A., you are actually nominated by Elba Cologne, your boss. She said you're the guy that makes the magic happen here at Hendrick Motorsports. So why don't you explain to us just a little bit what it is that you do?
So my job here at Hendrick is to develop, deploy, and then support our simulation tool used by all of our race engineers and our crew chiefs.
Okay, so you write the code, you do the interface, you do all of that.
Do all that stuff, yeah, and support it so that they have a product to use every weekend.
So H.A., you started here at Hendrick Motorsports in 2008. I'm assuming your role was a little bit different then. What was it back then?
When I started here, I was one of the race engineers for Dale Jr. on the 88 car.
Okay, so you were a user of the sim when you showed up.
Exactly right. And that's one of the things that helps me become better at what I'm doing right now. I know how the tool gets used every day, and I know the expectations the race engineers have and kind of the pressures that are on the race engineers when people like Chad say, hey, figure out what springs to put in it, right?
Right.
So I know the pressures they're under, so you kind of make the tool perform under those pressures.
Okay, so you talk about understanding the pressure. So how actually can you take that pressure that you had being an engineer and apply that to growing the Sim1 tool and how that goes?
Well, we look at things that the race engineers use the tool for every week. The biggest one is developing the setup that they're taking to the racetrack. And as the practice sessions keep getting shorter and shorter and there's less time on track, it's really important that we have the cars, our best product going forward out of the gate. If they go on track and the splitter's hitting the track, the crew chief gets mad, he's wasted a set of tires, right? So our goal is to have the sim good enough so they go on track and the car is really close.
Well, we appreciate that, I can tell you that.
And I'll tell you, we're always nervous. There's the rainouts, when you don't get any
Sure.
practice, you don't get any qualifying, your first lap on track is the race. And that's when you know if your sim is really good, how well the race engineers did at getting their setups right.
So that's how you know if you have or haven't done a good job then, basically.
Right.
So you've been involved in motorsports for a long time. What was your draw to Hendrick Motorsports?
Yeah, I've been in racing literally my whole life. I started racing quarter midgets when I was 3 years old. And we got to high school and we were talking about careers and different things you could study in college, and mechanical engineering came up. I was like, man, that sounds like me. And we would go to the stock car races every year in Riverside in California. And it was the year that Dale and Jeff Bodine did the big pass through the dirt. And I can remember that weekend that,
You were a young man at that point.
I was young, I was in high school. I can remember saying to myself, I'm gonna be an engineer at research and development at Hendrick. And I even have a polo shirt that we bought that weekend from the Hendrick truck, the Hendrick polo shirt. So my first Hendrick shirt I had in high school. They didn't even have a research and development department at Hendrick at that time.
But you were ready to start one, weren't you?
I was preparing for it. I was preparing for the job that didn't exist.
You've been here for 10 years now. A little over 10 years, actually. So what's been your favorite part?
I would say my favorite experience here was the year that we helped you with your 7th championship. We were developing the General Motors simulator, and we would have Jim, you would come in, and your team would come in, and I was in charge of helping getting everything going and scheduling. Mm-hmm. And when Jimmy got into the final 4, it was like 3 races to go, so we had a long time before that last race. He came up to me and he said, just start scheduling these hours. Like, we didn't even have those hours, and you'll get the hours, and don't worry about it. We started scheduling those hours. And from that point forward, everything at Hendrick Motorsports for the simulator was Jimmy Johnson and Homestead.
Yeah.
And when you got to Homestead, when Jimmy went on track, he had over 300 laps already at Homestead going for that weekend. Your engineers had come through and run through a bunch of setups. There were a bunch of different shocks we had gone through. His first lap on track, he was the fastest car on the sheet.
Yeah.
And that was when our guys, me and Tom and Kenny, we were like, well, we did our part.
Yeah.
We got them to the track and they were top of the sheet. And then it was up to you and your race team at the track to take it home, and we won the championship.
That's an important aspect of it. I don't think a lot of people realize that the dedication and the effort that you guys and your team put into the driver simulator, the regular vehicle simulation that we use, how critical that is to the performance of everybody here at Hendrick Motorsports. So, AJ, I appreciate all that you do, and thanks for coming on with us today, and we'll be seeing you around soon.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching. Be sure to catch the Hertz Chevy on the track at Sonoma this weekend on Fox Sports 1, and stay tuned all season long as we recognize our Hertz Heroes at Hendrick Motorsports.